Hello everyone and welcome to Press Play, the show where we keep you in the know with all things video games, from reviews to what's happening in the industry. I am your host, Brian Clevenger. We start off with Critical Role's recent drop with Ad Hoc Studios of a superhero dispatch call center. Then the game that started the show with one pitch, Monster Hunter Wilds, and the recent updates. We recap the Game Awards with all the games announced and upcoming. So grab your popcorn, settle in, because now it's time to press play. I want to take a moment to address something I often notice when playing video games. Kids engaging with games that aren't appropriate for their age. It makes me wonder, do the parents even know about the ESRB rating system? The Entertainment Software Rating Board, otherwise known as ESRB, provides a rating system for video games like the same that movies do. This rating system helps players, parents, and others understand better what content is inside the video game. While this rating system is not legally enforced, many retailers, console manufacturers, and digital storefronts follow the ESRB guidelines as an industry standard. In Canada, for example, a bill was passed to put mature games for age 17 and older to be put on another shelf. The ESRB ratings are as follows: E for everyone, which are suitable for all ages; E10, recommended for players age 10 and up; T for teen, suitable for ages 13 and older; M for mature, recommended for ages 17 and older; adult only, restricted for players 18 and older; rating pending, used for games awaiting an official rating; and rating pending 17 plus, typically expected for receive an M rating upon release. And with each rating comes a descriptor of a material which is included in the game, such as violence descriptors, blood descriptors, language descriptors, mature content descriptors, substance descriptors, gambling descriptors, and other interactive elements such as in-game purchases and user interaction. These ratings and descriptions exist to help players and parents make informed decisions, understanding that ensures that games are played by the appropriate audience, creating a safer and more enjoyable gaming experience for everyone playing. Critical Role, known for their epic tales told by Tabletop Dungeons & Dragons on Thursdays, have teamed up with a studio Ad Hoc to release a game where you dispatch superheroes as a 911 call center. You play as Robert Robertson, a hero known as Mecha Man. During a mission, everything goes wrong and it looks like it might be time to hang up the cape. That's when the opportunity comes along. A hero known as Blonde Blazer offers Robert a job at the Superhero Dispatch Network, or SDN for short. Instead of fighting heroes on the front line, you are now one answering calls and directing a team of heroes. That team? Well, it's a group of former villains, but they're trying to turn stuff around, and they call this program the Phoenix Program. The gameplay in Dispatch is heavily story-driven. As the player, you're making choices through what Robert says and does, and even the smallest decision can have a major consequence later on. Dispatching heroes is where the game side really comes into play. You assign heroes in emergencies based on their individual skills, team dynamics, and how well they work together. There are also light minigames woven in. For example, hacking becomes its own challenge, letting you break into security cameras, lights, and yes, even toilets. No joke. The game is told across 8 episodes, released 2 at a time. That release schedule was intentional, designed to feel like a TV series, giving players time to process each chapter, talk about it, and come back for the next episode. I really don't want to give it all away, as I think I gave most of episode 1 and 2. So if it really piqued your interest and you like heavy choice driven games like The Telltale's The Walking Dead and Wolf Among Us, or Don't Nod's Life is Strange franchise, and you want to make some life and death decisions, then I would say press play. I thought it'd be more appropriate to revisit the game that started the whole show, Monster Hunter Wilds. Monster Hunter Wilds was my original pitch for Press Play, and now that I've put countless hours into it, I wanted to take another look, this time with a lot more experience, and share that with you at home or wherever you're watching from. I've completed the main story, but now I'm diving into the post-launch content that's been added since release. This is the free content and there's plenty of it. New monsters, new quests, new materials, and even expanded weapon trees to chase down. The core loop is still there, as addicting as ever. Hunt monsters, gather materials, craft stronger gear, and repeat. And as someone who wants every top tier weapon and armor set, those expanding upgrade paths keep me coming back. When it comes to my own playstyle, I used to run Insect Glaive, but lately I've switched over to dual blades and light bowgun. Dual blades are fast, frantic, and really easy to pick up, while the light bowgun gives me a solid range options when I need to keep some distance. It's a great combination for handling everything the new updates throw at you. The most recent update as of writing this episode is the crossover from Final Fantasy XIV, which I'm personally excited about because I'm a big 14 fan. The update brings over the raid boss Omega, a set of themed quests, and some iconic additions like chocobos, those rideable birds every Final Fantasy player knows and loves. There are even some familiar creatures and references sprinkled in for fans of the series, making the crossover one of the most fun updates so far. And I'll be honest, Omega is no joke. As of recording this episode, I still haven't beaten that fight. It's easily one of the toughest challenges the game has thrown at me and demands preparation, coordination, learning attack patterns. You can't just brute force your way through it. It feels less like a standard hunt and more like a true raid encounter, which Final Fantasy fans will recognize immediately. The good news is you don't have to beat Omega to keep moving forward. This is a crossover update, not a progression wall. You can continue the main game, keep upgrading your gear, and come back to the fight later when you're ready. It's challenging, but it never feels punishing. It's for the players who want to push themselves further. So with all that content and even more updates already planned, should you press play? I would say yes, and that's especially true if you enjoy multiplayer. You can team up with your friends or players from all around the world. And the SOS system makes it super easy for others to jump into your quests and hunts without interrupting the flow. Welcome to this segment where it's all about finally finishing those games that always slip through the cracks. This is what I like to call, can I finish this? Where I see if I can beat a game story before the next episode of Press Play. This segment actually started after a conversation with a couple of my gamer friends who jokingly asked me, Brian, have you ever actually finished a game or beaten a game? So thanks guys for the inspiration. Now just to be clear, this isn't a full review. Think of it more of a quick playthrough and a first impression run as I finally see the credits roll. This week we're going to be taking a look at Spider-Man. No, not that one. We're actually going to be taking a look at the Spider-Man on the PS2. Released in 2002 following the Sam Raimi Spider-Man film, this game was developed by Treyarch. Yes, that Treyarch, who did a few Call of Duties, and published by Activision. I spent countless hours with this game back in the day, but strangely, I don't remember much of the actual gameplay. I remember a few moments here and there, but I don't remember ever beating it. And that's exactly why we're starting here. While I was still setting up everything, I kinda got dazed by the start screen. The cinematic that plays when you wait too long to press a button. When it kicked in, I suddenly started remembering the music and the opening cinematic. As I looked around the main menu, I found a special menu with options like credits, cheats, training, the secret store, the level wraps. Back in the day, a lot of games used to love doing cheats, whether they were cosmetic, completely game-breaking, and or straight-up cheating. Then, I was asked to choose a control style, but the game didn't really explain the difference. So, I popped open the manual inside the Spider-Man case. Back when I was a kid, I'll buy a game from the store, and on the car ride home, immediately pull out the manual and start reading it. Manuals used to tell you everything, how to play the game, controls, game modes, and more. The Spider-Man manual even had a table explaining the difference between the classic and enhanced control schemes. Once I figured out what control setup I wanted, it was finally time to play. The game opens with a cinematic, and as soon as it started, I was instantly pulled back into my childhood. The game doesn't fully explain everything that happens in the movie, leaves some gaps, so if you haven't seen the film, you might get a little lost. Then we jump into the first mission, tracking down the gang members responsible for Uncle Ben's death. They travel across rooftops, eventually cornering him, only to learn that he wasn't actually the one who killed Uncle Ben. But he does know who did. And I would like to mention the movement sucks. When you turn the camera while moving Peter, it stays going in the way you did, similar to like movement in Resident Evil when you move areas. Then you make your way to the dock without making your way to the dock, but more like going past the buildings to the cutscene of you landing at the dock. At the dock, you enter the warehouse and start beating up thugs to make your way to the top. With it being so cramped, it was kind of hard to see around corners.
Peekaboo.
Ah, you got me. Me? I played the game on normal, but by gosh, the inside was too hard. You get swamped by guards and gun thugs will hit and stun you as well as the regular ones. So I found in the pause menu is a combat menu which told me about other combat options I could have done in the beginning. So you're telling me all this has been here since the beginning? Like I know it was in the manual, but come on, this game needs a tutorial. After I did some of the new combat options, I noticed it was getting a little bit easier. And I say a little bit because those new web options are used at a price. Because under my health bar is a web bar. With how much web I use, it goes down. The only way to fill it is with these blue floating spiders throughout the level. The same way with your health. The game says there are stealth options, but the AI and combat option is nearly impossible. Because the thugs notice you and almost instantly. Now, I know I was bashing the game, but some of these sections are nearly impossible. I finally got through it, but it only took nearly 45 minutes. Now, I was kind of lying to you. It actually didn't take 45 minutes. It took 37 minutes, 36 seconds based off my editing timeline of the warehouse section. When I came back, the next part started with a cutscene featuring Norman Osborn, aka the Green Goblin. But here's the weird part. I didn't even see the Green Goblin in the next section. Instead, I'm suddenly tasked with destroying these drones. Like I said earlier, the movement sucks, and with Peter swinging, it's nearly impossible. Genuinely have no idea how I managed to do this as a kid. And did I mention that the drones are actively shooting at me? After about 13 minutes of that, it was finally off to the next section, which for some reason suddenly has Shocker and Vulture in it. Now, I don't remember them being in the movies. But don't get me wrong, I actually think it's really cool that they added more villains except for just chasing the Green Goblin all the time. The Shocker section is pretty tedious. You start off what looks like to be Grand Central Station, I think. You basically have to save people scattered across different areas of the stage, which is basically a race from one side of the station to the other. Then Shocker escapes into tunnels leading into the sewers, which you follow by tracking a path of goons like before, but it's slightly easier than the warehouse. At the end, you find Shocker in the area with a bunch of tunnels where he fires shockwaves. And have I mentioned the movement sucks? Yeah. Well, in order to get through this section, you have to reach the end before Shocker sends a pulse down the row of subway tunnels, with the tunnel having gaps to hide in. But Shocker will send another pulse before you reach that gap, stun you, and then hit you with another one until it's game over. Now, in order to get through all this, you need to look in first person at the wall, wait for the spider cursor to turn green, and web to that wall. But let me mention that sometimes a first person view will flip you around without warning, and you don't know you're looking backwards since the whole area looks the same. Also, when you're in the gap, you have to make sure you're actively fully in it, because he can still get you even though your pinky toe is still sticking out. OSHA will shut down this tunnel immediately. Then once you make your way to the Shocker, all he does is run off again like before, so you're chasing him down a bunch of empty tunnels. Then you reach him, and then you beat him up. But wait, there's more. Did you forget about Vulture? Because he's our next enemy. In this level, there are two enemies, Vulture and the one that's been here since the beginning of the game, the movement. Vulture hangs out in a clock tower, so the whole level is vertical, so combine everything I hate so far, cramped areas, and movement. I guess a plus is that this level has no standard enemies. But it is heavily trapped. It has mechanical bugs chasing after you, the Vulture throws bombs at you, and all this is happening at the same time. Did I forget to mention that this clock tower is a maze? Yes, there are stairs, but they are often blocked and you have to travel either through the inner parts of the clock tower or along the outside. Then once you reach the top, he just runs. What a shocker. Shocker did that as well. See what I did there? Then it's a chase above New York with the atrocious web swinging. Vulture destroys billboards and water towers for you to fix so they don't fall onto the people below, as well as Vulture shooting at you while you chase. Once you reach them, it's a fight in the air. I literally just abused a combo that makes me lock onto the enemy because that was the only way to aim at him. Then he would land on a nearby building and fix his jetpack and then is off to the skies and rinse and repeat. After that, he gets arrested. Alright, now off to Green Goblin. Right? No, for some reason we have Scorpion. He was introduced with a cutscene showing a bunch of spiders chasing him down. Peter helps Scorpion out with this spider situation, which is similar to Shocker's situation where you protect the civilians. If Scorpion dies, you fail the level, but Scorpion runs to the top of the garage while you're being pummeled by spiders. Once you are done, more spiders go after you, as well as Scorpion, which would eventually lose the level. So what I did was hunt the spiders all on the bottom. When he left, I went to the top and hunted all the remaining spiders, which worked really great. Once you help Scorpion with his spider problem, you helped him escape, but Scorpion thinks you're working with the spiders, so he runs away from you. I mean, I get it. I do have a big spider on my chest, but the man doesn't listen to reason. His fight is the same place where Shocker started, Grand Central Station. I think. Scorpion hit so hard that my game crashed. But don't worry, I was able to go back since his fight was a new level and each level they save. This fight was relatively easy due to the fact that all I had to do was abuse the lock-on combo, some other add-ons. Then once you take him down, you are distracted by another mechanical spider and Scorpion gets away. That was all I got to since I started to run out of time. But collectively, from start to where I got to, took about 3-ish hours. So did I finish the game? No. I only beat half the game. But I will eventually finish the game, but not in the making of this video. With this year ending comes also the Game Awards, an award show like the Golden Globes and Oscar but for video games. With categories going to each game, here are the winners of all the categories. In Best Family Game, Donkey Kong Bonanza. Innovation and Accessibility, Doom the Dark Ages. Best Esports Game, Counter-Strike 2. Best Esports Athlete, Chovy. Best Esports Team, Team Vitality, Counter-Strike 2. Best Mobile Game, Ume Musumi, Pretty Derby. Best Independent Game, Clair Obscur Expedition 33. Best Adaptation, The Last of Us Season 2. Best Action Game, Hades 2. Best Performance, Jennifer English in Clair Obscur Expedition 33. Games for Impact, South of Midnight. Best Ongoing Game, No Man's Sky. Best Audio Design, Battlefield 6. Content Creator of the Year, Moist Critical. Best Fighting Game, Fatal Fury, City of the Wolves. Most Anticipated Game, Grand Theft Auto 6. Game Changer Award, Girls Make Games. Best Action Adventure Game, Hollow Knight Silksong. Best Art Direction, Clair Obscur Expedition 33. Best Sim/Strategy Game, Final Fantasy Tactics, The Evolus Chronicles. Best Debut Indie Game, Clair Obscur Expedition 33. Best Score and Music, Clair Obscur Expedition 33, Lorien Testard. Best Sports/Racing Game, Mario Kart World. Best Community Support, Baldur's Gate 3. Best VR/AR Game, The Midnight Walk. Best RPG, Clair Obscur Expedition 33. Player's Voice Award, Wuthering Waves. Best Narrative, Clair Obscur Expedition 33. Best Multiplayer, Arc Raiders. Best Game Direction, Clair Obscur Expedition 33. And the Game of the Year, Clair Obscur Expedition 33. Many new games were announced at this year's 2025 The Game Awards, many coming up next year in new updates or DLC. Pragmata, a third-person sci-fi puzzle shooter coming to Xbox, PS5, PC, and announced at the Game Awards coming to Switch 2. Bradley the Badger, studio debut Day 4 Night Studios releases a 3D platformer. Star Wars Fate of the Old Republic, a new game set in the Star Wars Old Republic universe, same director as Mass Effect and Knights of the Old Republic. Ontos, Amnesia the Dark Descent developer Frictional Games and Kepler Interactive will release a sci-fi spiritual successor to Soma. Resident Evil Requiem, Leon S. Kennedy is back, and better than ever. Exodus, Archetype Entertainment and Wizards of the Coast brings a new sci-fi tale with C.C. Orlick voiced by Matthew McConaughey. Dungeons & Dragons Warlock, another game by Wizards of the Coast and Invoke Studios, comes a game focused on multiple types of magic with Trisha Helfer. Control Resonant, Remedy Entertainment releases its new game in the Control franchise, this time following the brother Dylan Faden, Jesse Faden's brother. Gang of Dragons, Yakuza developer Toshihiro Nagoshi is now making his first project out of Sega. LEGO Batman Legacy of the Dark Knight, the LEGO franchise brings humor and brick to the next LEGO Batman game. Tomb Raider Legacy of Atlantis, Lara Croft returns in a full remake of the 1996 adventure and even announcing the next game after that for 2027. Forest 3. Next up in the Forest franchise is a sci-fi foggy and haunted forest containing some unusual creatures. Orbital, a two-player co-op exclusively to the Nintendo Switch 2 with a retro anime art style. Diablo 4 Lord of the Hatred, Blizzard Entertainment has announced a new expansion for Diablo 4. Marvel Rivals Deadpool, NetEase has announced that Deadpool will be joining in on the fun in January. 007 First Light, James Bond is back, but this time we see his origin, even announced that the new villain is voiced by Lenny Kravitz. Saros, an upcoming 2026 action game developed by House Marquee and published by Sony Interactive Entertainment, the game is set to be released for the PlayStation 5 in April 2026. Total War Warhammer 40k. Experience the brutal fusion of galactic strategy and grimdark warfare in Total War Warhammer 40k. Take command of iconic factions, customize your war machine, and engage in devastating battles as you carve the bloody warpath across the stars. Ace Combat Wing of Thev. Soar through the skies and rise through every challenge and earn your place among the elite. Engage in intense aerial combat to dominate the battlefield with powerful weapons. Experience a breathtaking campaign filled with high-stakes missions, hard choices, and deep squad connections. Star Wars Galactic Racer, a runs-based high-stake reinvention of racing born in the lawless Outer Rim. With the Empire gone and the galaxy rebuilding, the Galactic League is created, an underground unsanctioned circuit where syndicates bankroll chaos and champions are forged. Phantom Blade Zero. S-Game presents a fusion of classic wuxia storytelling and exhilarating action powered by Unreal Engine 5. You play as Soul, a warrior with only 66 days left to live. Fend off assassins, unravel world-ending conspiracies, and defend your values with your life. Mega Man Dual Override. Mega Man returns in 2027 with a brand new entry in classic action platforming series. Override challenges and blast down legions of robots with springboarding across a new array of futuristic frontiers. Highguard. From the creators of Apex Legends and Titanfall comes Highguard, a PvP raid shooter where players will ride, fight, and raid as wardens, arcane gunslingers sent to fight for control of a mythical continent. Thank you so much for watching today's episode of Press Play. If you want to see more, you can check out next week's episode where we check out Clair Obscur Expedition 33's The Game Award winner. So that's it for today. Until then, keep playing, keep exploring, and as always, press play.